Everybody we know at some point in their life faces some level of adversity and struggle, whether it's personally, professionally, whatever it is. But my question is, why aren't more people open to sharing their struggles? And I would answer that with, I think people are just, they haven't healed from it yet, or they are harboring some form of guilt, some form of shame, self-doubt, negative self-talk about it still, whatever it is. But I want to give you an example of why it's our duty, in a sense, to embrace the struggle that comes individually to each of us. I was in Boston last year. I was at a really great seminar, a personal development seminar, and I got my first taste of personal development when I first got sober in 2019. Went into rehab, Alcoholics Anonymous, court, the whole 9 yards. Sobriety court is what it was called. And it was, honestly, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and the worst thing that ever happened to me simultaneously. But what I picked up from that was I guess I had reached a certain point where I had surrendered to the issues that I was facing in my life, which was alcoholism. And I got to tell you, there's much more of an underlying factor when it comes to drug and alcohol abuse. There's something that's causing that. Yes, there's an addiction, but there's a whole underlying issue that needs to be addressed. So I'm in Boston. I meet this really cool guy named Paul, and Paul's around my age. We hit it off, and we got to know each other pretty well. And by the second day of the seminar, he had divulged to me that he had a brother-in-law, I think it was a brother-in-law, who was struggling bad with alcoholism and just was in complete denial, like so many alcoholics are. And they try to help him, they just can't. He can't help himself. It's a struggle, so it's going to be what it's going to be. You know, it's alcoholism. A lot of the time, it's just going to take a serious life event in order to trigger that individual into some sort of common sense. And he looked at me and he asked me, he was like, how are you so open with your struggles and everything you've been through? Like, you're so open about sharing it and all that stuff. And I think that, I was able to get beaten down low enough that I just didn't give a shit anymore. I was just like, I'm done fighting in every way, shape, and form. And I was able to start from the bottom and rebuild myself. So it was, like I was saying, it's actually the worst thing that ever happened to me here, and then it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Like I said, it was my first glimpse into personal development, building that best version of you, the 10.0 version of you over time. And I feel so passionately about that, is what I was telling him. And I said, I can really help others by being that example, being that light. I mean, look at the numbers of people who are afflicted with alcohol and drug abuse in the United States alone. I mean, it's absolutely wild. So, anyways, I explained that to him. And it was phenomenal. But what I want to tell you is that now I realize it was never really about me in the first place, right? Like, the whole point is we are supposed to heal ourselves from what we're dealing with and then help others. It's very simple. Heal yourself, help others. Heal yourself, help others. It's regardless of what your pain point is, right? I've been open and honest with mine. Mine was alcohol. That was the struggle. Many of you maybe are dealing with other issues. I don't know what it could be anger, right? It could be anger. That's your issue. That's the root issue in your life, right? And it's the whole point. It's the big picture, like I'm trying to convey here. It's the big picture of, it was never about me. It was about me healing myself and then being able to pass that on to others. That's the big picture here. Turns out that's really the only thing that matters. I'm essentially just a vessel to provide this information outward now, because I've healed myself and I continue to just elevate to new levels. And that's honestly, that's the whole point of this damn channel, is to just pass this along and in perpetuity, forever, on YouTube. So that's really my biggest point, is try to be more open about your struggles. Or if you can't do that yet, heal yourself. Do what you need to do. Get a coach, get a mentor, reach out to me. Do what you need to do to heal yourself. Take care of yourself so that you can then begin to see the bigger picture, is that we are meant to embrace our struggles and then pass them on. Or I should say, pass on the solution that you came to. What worked for me, right? What that can do for another individual who's struggling, I mean, you could change their whole life. You could change their whole life. And that's the most important thing. So that's my biggest thing, is we all have adversity. We all have struggles. Many of us, I mean, it could be different, whatever it is. Just embrace that. Reach out to who you need to reach out to start the healing process. And then pass that on to others. That's what we're here to do. I hope this helps you guys.